Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tarot Today. My name is Delphine, and I am here with.
Adrien. Hi Delphine, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm really enjoying our little court card series that we're doing. Today, Adrian and I are going to talk to you about the court cards of the Suit of Pentacles. Um, and where do you think we should start, Adrian? Because I think in our last episode, we did a really good job, I think, of driving home the whole, you know, element, earth of fire, blah, blah, blah. Just, basically just assigning an element to each court card. So if you don't remember from last week's episode, pages are earth, knights are air, queens are water, and kings are fire. Basically, of course, each court card will have an element already assigned to it, depending on what suit it's a part of. So, for example, today we are doing the suit of Pentacles. And so, of course, the page of Pentacles will be earth of earth. The knight of Pentacles will be air of earth. The Queen of Pentacles will be water of earth. And the King of Pentacles will be earth of fire.
Very good. I guess we're finished. We're gonna say good. No.
And
Um,
so,
yeah.
I mean, I think we've drilled that home quite a bit. So I think that if we used that same technique to explain all of these court cards, maybe that's a little bit redundant. So maybe we should talk about the different sort of personalities or the way that these kind of cards can manifest. What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. Let's do that. I think it's also interesting that you have your Smith weight in front of you, and I have my Marseille deck in front of me. Um, First of all, every time you show me that pastel Smithwaite deck, it's like, oh, I need to get myself one of these. It's so cute. And so they have a way to connect these chord cards. They have a way to look at their element, right? So we can start with the page of coins. Well, in the French edition, we call it denier, coin, right? But in the Smith weight, it's called pentacles, right? So the page of pentacles really looks at his coin, is focused on it, right? It's very important. He's trying to figure out how he's going to make this material aspect manifest, takes shape, happen. In the Marseille version, we have a second coin on the ground in the floor, and he has one in his hand. So it really gives us the aspect of how to get something off the ground almost. It's like the page of coins is trying to really figure out how to get something started, how to get something in action. And as we know, the pages start something. They're at the beginning of a journey. What do you think, Delphine?
Yeah, the pages are the beginning of a journey, and I entirely agree with everything that you said. And with the Page of Pentacles, the way that I always see the Page of Pentacles is I see him as the student or her, right? Because I mean, also as we've mentioned, it's like the court cards are not gendered; they're gender neutral ultimately, um, or gender neutral. That's not the right way to say it, but point is that like I mean, we all just have a masculine and feminine side, regardless of how we interact with that aspect of ourselves. So these are just playing on energies that already exist within us.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, with the Page of Pentacles, I always see him or her as a student, somebody that is doing something very diligently. Um, so, this could look like embarking on a new course of study or a master's program, or perhaps picking up new skills for a job that we have or that we're doing. Um, I mean, it's interesting because, like, usually when this shows up in the romance readings, at least in the romance readings that I do, it usually indicates that somebody is trying to work something out. Like, not necessarily with the other person, but it's like whenever this has shown up for me or for somebody else that I'm rooting for, it's usually that they're troubleshooting something.
Troubleshooting. Interesting. Would you like to expand a little bit? Because I think our listeners are probably very interested in because love readings are about, I want to say, 70% of the readings
Yeah.
we
So,
get.
like, I mean, usually when the Page of Pentacles appears, like, I mean, it's somebody that feels like they're a novice at something or that they're new at something, right? So, for example, I mean, I will come back to the romance example. But also, whenever I'm reading for people's parents or just even older individuals, sometimes I get the Page of Pentacles, and to me, it will indicate sort of like relearning how to use a cup again, right? Because maybe somebody had a stroke and they lost sensation or, the use of their right arm. So
Mm.
it's learning how to do something again. So if that's, picking up a cup, or if that's, walking up the stairs, or if that's, I mean, whatever it is, right? And so, like in a relationship, if we take that into a different context, it's kind of like, okay, well, maybe I don't know how to be in a relationship, or perhaps I don't know how to interact with this person in this situation. So it's almost like taking a step back and then kind of just like going back down to basics and trying to figure out, okay, how do I want to show up? How do I want to do XYZ? And a lot of times I don't actually find the Page of Pentacles as a very outward process, at least when it shows up in a relationship reading. To me, it usually indicates that something is kind of happening below the surface, kind of like temperance, like kind of like alchemically, or maybe through osmosis, or, maybe by just existing or being or thinking or whatever. But it's like, but there's an element of learning. There's always an element of learning with the Page of Pentacles. What
Hmm.
do you think?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think this is really, really interesting what you're saying. Because the Page of Pentacles is the Earth of Earth, right?
Mhm.
And so there's something very deep in the earth which is trying to emerge, right? So if you had a stroke, this example you gave, there's somebody that might have had a stroke and trying to learn how to pick up a glass again, it's a very slow process. It's not something that's
Yeah.
happening very fast, right? So it's somebody that's really taking time to reconnect these muscles. Muscles, material. Material is pentacles.
Yeah.
Pentacles are the earth. So we have this aspect of something that's very slow going, that's very physical, which people might think, why not the Page of Wands, right? Because he's learning an action. But I think the wands are giving us something much more fiery, much
Yeah, they're excited. The
yeah.
Page of Wands is excited. It's enthusiasm. It's like, it's just like it's having that like little ball of energy. It's kind of like, right before I'm about to like go see my friends, I'm like Page of Wands, I'm like rearing to go. Or like, if I am like sending an excited message to be like, blah, 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 this just happened, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, or whatever. But yeah, the Page of Wands is about enthusiasm. It's almost like pure energy, but it's like, I mean, Pentacles, again, we're dealing with Earth, as you already said. So it's like we're doing something diligently, slowly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. And there's this idea of it all of a sudden in my mind popped up the Eight of Pentacles, which we have
Yeah.
diligent daily routine to try to hone your craft. Whereas the Page of Pentacles also finds himself in the Eight of Pentacles, we've learned how to do something and we are honing that craft. We're repeating day in and day out the same thing so we can do it better. Delphine is trying to kill a fly, which is around her. It's quite funny. Um, with the Page of Pentacles, there's really this aspect of learning, processing some things. So the Page of Pentacles would come maybe before the Eight of Pentacles, for instance, right? I would think so. That's very interesting. I love this example of learning how to pick up a glass again. For example, I think this is very because pentacles are not just about making money. They're not just about learning a craft. It can be all these things. Learning something physical again. But yeah,
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's kind of the interesting thing with Pentacles is that people, or well, sometimes I find students really struggle with it because they're like, it's all about money or it's all about work. And it's like, no, like, I mean, the Suit of Pentacles is quite literally about everything that we do. It is the physical manifestation of every single aspect of our life, whether that is love, money, relationships, work, our passions, our hobbies, our friends, whatever, right?
it's tangible. It's
Tangible. Yeah.
physical, right? It's something that, you can grasp with your hands. It's something that you can touch, that you can hold, In the playing cards, the pentacles are the diamonds,
Yeah.
right? The diamonds you carry in your hand, right? It's valuable as well. Um, Knights, the Knight of Pentacle. Now, that's an interesting one as well because knights are usually they're in movement, right? But this knight seems to be not moving. It's the slowest of the knights, right? It really has lost, he has lost all spontaneity. Right. The Knight of Pentacles feels like he's really working step by step to get things done. It's like the Page of Pentacles, as you know, figured out, has started the project, has learned how to, well, if you take this example, the Page of Pentacles might have learned to pick up the glass again, but the Knight of Pentacles is learning how to walk again.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting because like the Knight of Pentacles, it's like, sometimes people have a very bad relationship with him just because they see him so slow. And I have definitely been guilty of that. Whenever the Knight of Pentacles shows up for me, sometimes I'm like, oh, what a slog. Um, but the thing is that the Knight of Pentacles does do things again very, very diligently. Slow and steady wins the race. This is somebody who is going to take a year to emotionally process something, but once they do, they know it.
Hmm.
They know it, they can do it, they are reliable. Like, this is the person that's going to show up when they say that they're going to show up. This is the person that's not necessarily going to, overcommit. Like, I mean, it's the card of like responsibility. Like I see a Knight of Pentacles is responsible. Um, but ultimately, yeah, steadfast, committed, again, reliable. This is somebody who, it's interesting because like, yeah, this isn't necessarily somebody who is like as quick as like the Knight of Swords, for example, right? So it's like if you're having a verbal argument with the Knight of Pentacles, they might just kind of freeze. They might just kind of freeze and not necessarily know what to say because like usually like because their processing speed is just slower, but processing speed being slower doesn't necessarily negate from the fact that you know, they're going through their own process and doing their own thing in their own time, and they will arrive at the same conclusion just in their different way.
Hmm. No, absolutely. And I think they're very good with boundaries. You know,
Yes, I
the
would agree with that.
they're very good with setting boundaries. They know where their boundaries are. They do things step by step. I mean, they are, with the night, the night of, with the Knight of Sword, as you mentioned, which is very quick and will probably say something before, he has time to even think about it, right? Uh,
Yeah, the Knight of Swords will probably say could in an argument. Like, let's say that we have these two knights in an argument. The Knight of Swords will likely say something very cutting that they don't necessarily mean, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And probably immediately regret it after they sort of like walk away. And like, how do you think that the Knight of Pentacles would be in an argument?
I mean, it'll be very measured, very
Stonewalling.
measured, very slow, and he's going to be, really weighing everything he's going to be saying. So when he's
Mhm,
going to be saying it, like he's going to say it once, and he's going to have weight,
mhm.
going to have a real
And
weight.
and also just like I really do think that with Earth as well, like stone, right? Stonewalling.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So like, perhaps just not even engaging because they literally can't. It's like, I mean, the energy of the Knight of Swords, for example, that is, I mean, I think they're almost like opposites, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah, they are, in a sense, they are. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Which is really interesting because this is air of Earth,
Mm-hmm.
right?
It is, absolutely.
Yeah,
And the Knight of Sword is air of air.
yeah.
you know so there's really two opposing idea, and air and earth don't really mix. I mean, water and earth mix, you know but air and earth, like how, it's I mean, you can think about a grounded thought. Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely, you can think about a grounded thought.
Or
uh,
perhaps you can think about a field that has just been sown with seed. And
mhm.
actually, of course, the seed, I don't know, should I really be making farming analogies right now? I don't know
No.
anything about farming and I don't have the green thumb like you. But point is that we have sown the seeds in the field. There is a field here, the seeds have been sown. But point is that like this harvest, it might not actually it might not actually like grow or sprout or show any foliage until next year, right? And so that is the thing. So it's like you need the air for the earth to grow the seed, but the plant isn't going to just, if you could just help me, Adrian, because I think that you know what I'm trying to explain, but I
The
don't think I have
plant
the words for this.
plant is not magically grow very quickly. This is not Jack and the Beanstalk, you know. But can you feel how slower we are getting into this energy trying to, it's interesting when we talk about certain cards and certain suits, all of a sudden the energy in which we speak or what we try to express, changes. And I think this is
Mhm.
quite interesting. And I will always remember me running a workshop, and I had different groups and they had a task to do, and each group had a particular task, and the group that was given that had picked the moon card did not even understand what the task was, so it was like it's very funny how these elements and these energies tend to seep through everything when we are working with them.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mm-mm.
I was thinking that. I was thinking that. Like, I usually talk extremely fast just because that's just who I am. And like, since we started recording this episode, I do feel like I've slowed it down.
Yeah, we need to work with Earth more, and Earth is not often comfortable for you and myself to work with. But
I agree.
I think this is very rewarding. Let's say, rewarding. Let me get my mouth around that word. It's very rewarding for us to work with the element of Earth, which takes us to the Queen of Pentacles. Now, in the Marseille deck, in the Smith weight, she's looking down at a pentacle, she's nurturing. But in the
Mhm.
Marseille deck, she has it in front of her face like a mirror, almost like she's looking at herself to see what she's looking at, to give herself some sort of self value, self-worth, because of the body. But in the Smith weight, she's looking down at the pentacles, and she's caring for it. She's nurturing the growth. So once the seed has been sown, you need to have the right amount of water to go into the seed for it to grow. So this is where the Queen of Pentacles is telling us, okay, she's the nurturer of the material aspect, whatever it is. She keeps things going. She puts enough water at the right amount of time for the development of what we are doing at this point in time. Would you agree?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Also, in the Smith weight, I love that in the corner there is a rabbit.
Hmm.
Because I also think, she represents fertility and she's all about fertility. But it's interesting because it's like when a lot of people have trouble with the Queen of Pentacles, because it's just kind of like, they have trouble with her in the sense of like they almost like want to put her into like the category of like the homemaker. And it's like, and of course, that is not just who the Queen of Pentacles is. It's like, I mean, what do you think that she would look like in the corporate world? So, like, if all the queens were in the corporate world, what do you think that they would be doing? The Queen of Cups would be a psychotherapist, right?
Yeah, she can be. Yeah, I think I used to see the Queen of Coins as when I was in this is a different aspect, but when I was in show business, when I was a dancer and a singer, the Queen of Coins was my agent. That
Ah,
everything was going through her or him, right? So the Queen of Coins is not the one that's making the money, but she's taking care of the money, right? It's going through her, right? Whereas the King is the one that's generating the money, right? So there's the
mhm.
inner understanding of the money, right? So she could be the accountant, I would say, but
So actually, that's so funny because one Queen of Pentacles I know is an accountant. Yeah, so it's like, I mean, I would say that it's like the Queen of Pentacles actually works with the money.
yeah.
Like I could never be an accountant. Oh my God. Oh, oof.
Wait.
I can barely count my own money. But uh, but yeah, so it's like, I mean, maybe an accountant for the Queen of Pentacles, a psychotherapist for the Queen of Cups, and then like the Queen of Swords. Like, I mean, she's our lawyer, right?
Yeah.
She's like our lawyer, or like, I don't know, perhaps, yeah, perhaps like a financier, or, just working in finance. Uh, and then with the Queen of Wands, like, I mean, that's an entrepreneur. That's somebody perhaps in like, show business. That's somebody out there like doing something daring. Like, she's in the startup world. She's like doing pitches. Like, she's working a room.
She's very independent, the Queen of Wands, and she's
Yeah.
charismatic, everybody sort of tends to drift towards her.
hmm
Uh,
And then also, it's really interesting too, because like with the queens, just kind of in general, and I don't want to make this just about the queens, of course, so I'll just make this comment and then we can move on. But also with the queens, it's like sometimes people will sort of like associate one queen more with like show business or beauty, and I actually just completely disagree, because of course, like, I mean, all queens and all kings are beautiful, handsome, whatever in their own right. And so with the Queen of Pentacles, it's like, I mean, a lot of times, like I'll have students be like, "Oh, she must be homely," or this, and that, and I'm like, "No, absolutely not. This is the beauty queen." I think she's a beauty queen.
yeah, I agree. She is absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
In the
because she's
Marseille
that
deck, it's
fertility.
very obvious because she holds the coin as a mirror, so she's really
Ah,
like,
love.
yeah, so like it's this sense of self-worth, the self-love, she's really well dressed and she's really looking intently at herself in the mirror, in the coin. So there is a real sense of value through material aspect, right? She's
Yeah,
very Taurian, here, there's something very Taurus about her.
yeah,
Yeah. And so the king of coins, the king of pentacles, we've talked about him before. He's the ultimate daddy. He's the sugar daddy. He's the one that's actually made his money. What I love about the Smith weight representation is that the card is extremely busy at the bottom and very free at the top, right? So what this tells me is that the groundwork has been done and it's very dense at the bottom and nothing can move it, right? This is not money that has been made or a success has been found through something light. It's been through a really deep important work that you can't shake, you can't move, right? I mean, the
yeah,
bottom of the card is so thick and intense and full. And this is how he's made his money. And he's made his money, I want to say, on the field, because in the Marseille deck, you can see him literally outside. He's sitting down, but he's outdoors, so he's working. He's almost like a merchant. Is somebody that's traded. Is somebody that's actually has had a success and mastery over his business, I would say.
yeah. No, I completely agree. It's like the King of Pentacles is grounded. He's there. Usually he is quite traditional, right? It's somebody who like wants to make sure that they have their finances in order. Like, I mean, this is wanting to make sure that you're able to pay for a date. This is wanting to make sure that it's like, you could support a partner even if it's not necessarily necessary or strictly necessary. Like, I mean, the King of Pentacles wants to make sure that he's able to kind of cultivate and create an experience.
Hmm.
Um, he wants to make sure that the container is there. He
Absolutely.
wants to make sure that it's like that there is security for himself and also for somebody else. It's like, I mean, this is somebody who very much makes sure that, again, the ground is stable before asking you to walk onto it, right?
Mhm.
He's got the foundation of the house built before he asks you to move into the house.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So as an advice, if you had to embody these cars, you really think about the qualities of these cards, like you've just described, the King of Pentacles, the King of Coins is the one that really makes sure that the foundations are good and the house is built before you can move in.
Mhm.
Somebody that's traditional, this earth aspect. If you think in astrology, the earth signs, we have Taurus, we have Capricorn, and we have Virgo, right? So they're all practical, grounded, like um, um, success or thing or achieving things is very important for these signs, and it's the same thing with all these pentacles. As I'm speaking about them and I'm looking at them in front of my on my desk, they are coming alive and they are moving and they're very slow and they're like, yes, we're doing things, but it's taking time to do them, and we're shaping things, like a sculpture, we shape something, right? And I
Hmm.
feel like the pentacles are all about shaping a reality that we can lean on,
Hmm.
thing. Yeah. Is there
I
anything you'd like
complete.
to add about the pentacles?
No, I mean, I think that with the Suit of Pentacles, yeah, I mean, they're grounded. They're focused on the things that we can see, touch, and feel, like you already said, like we already said, the tangible aspects of life. So I don't really think that there's more to say about them, at least at this juncture. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we're done with the pentacles. We want to go back
Yeah.
to an airy feel.
Yeah, we're gonna do cups next, and oh, I'll have lots to say about the cups.
Yeah. So see you guys next week. And we wish you a beautiful week. And remember, keep reading your cards.
Keep reading your cards. See you next week, Adrian. Bye.
Bye bye, Delphine.